scoring back to Haas. Haas takes a shot, deflected in wood. Rubber twine the Eastern Washington Eagles. Hello again and welcome back to the Eagles Nest. I'm Tyler Pisani, your host, the voice of the Eastern Washington Eagles on the ice, and we are glad to have you in 2017. A rough start to the season for both teams out there, but no worries. The second half because the second half looks like it's going to be fantastic for both the ACHA team and the BCIHL team coming up in February. The ACHA team hosts the inaugural NPHC end-of-season conference tournament coming to town. Portland State, University of Idaho, and Western Washington University all vying for that crown. That's going to go down February 18th and 19th. But before that, the team is at home this weekend. 2 games against the University of Idaho and a game against Montana State University. A 3-game and 3-day edition of Eastern Washington hockey out there. Game times are 7 o'clock on Friday, 5 o'clock on Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday afternoon against Montana State. Stick around because coming up we'll be talking with Felix Allard about his experience with the team so far this season and what we can expect of the team coming up in this second half. I've been talking to head coach Morgan Ouellette, and he's excited about what's coming up in the second half of the season. They do enter the second half 4-6 on the year, 21 goals for, 41 goals against. Looking at the BCIHL team now, they have their work cut out for them in the second half of this season. Not able to find the win column yet, but they were very close as they wrapped up games 11, 12, and 13 of the season. Still looking for that first win on the year. 5 games, 11 points behind the University of Victoria, who will be in Cheney on January 20th. Stick around because we'll be chatting with the BCIHL's 2-time reigning scoring champion, Beau Walker. Yes, he will make his return to the ice January 20th, and that brings us to Beau right now. Here he is, number 88 for your BCIHL Eagles. Beau Walker, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's been a while. Just getting healthy, and I'm glad to be on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely. And how was your winter break? You keeping yourself active a little bit?
Yeah, no, I was just focusing on getting myself ready to go for the second half and spending time with family and friends back home. And, it was relaxing, but, I'm glad to be back in Cheney and getting the grind going again.
Definitely. And you've been with this team for a couple of years, but it's not often that that people get to hear from the players themselves and learn about them. I mean, this is your 4th season with the team. Give everybody out there listening at home just kind of an abbreviated Beau Walker story.
This is actually like my 3rd year here. My first year I was only here for 1 game, but then I went and pursued a professional hockey career, and when that didn't work out, I officially came back, and I've enjoyed my time here at Eastern, and I'm doing what I can to help the program. But I as Beau Walker, I'd say I'm a seasoned junior hockey player that brings a lot of experience and loves to bring a lot of energy to the game, and obviously a lot of skill as well. So I'm just a very experienced player, I'd say.
Well, and that experience has definitely come in handy for you, especially in this league. I mean, the 2 seasons that you actually took part in a majority of the games for the Eagles, you ended up with the scoring title in 14-15 and 15-16. This year, obviously, due to injury, that's not something that looks like it's going to happen, unfortunately. Although it could, you never know. I mean, we've still got half the season to go, but you gave the rest of the players a little bit of a lead there. But early on in this season, I want to say it was just 2 games in, ended up with a lower body injury. Everything good there? The Eagles fans going to be able to see you back out on the ice this season?
Yeah, I took a solid 3 months off the ice. I didn't touch it at all, and went to physical therapy once a week and made sure I did my reps in the gym and, made sure my mobility and, my strength is there. And, I've been practicing for the last 2 weeks with the team, and I don't see any reason why I can't compete the way I was before I got hurt. So I'm feeling good.
Well, and talking to the coaches out there, both Pat Hanlon and Jason Greenwell, they've both said the same thing about you, that you've wanted to get back out on the ice, and it was almost a struggle to keep you off of the ice for as long as they did because you're such a passionate player. Is that something that you're excited about bringing back to the team when you're out there on the ice?
Yeah, it was a long road getting healthy. I obviously wanted to get on the ice, but I have to think about what's best for me and what's best for the team. And I think a fresh start in the second half will be just what we need. Obviously it's not something you ever want to deal with, and the kind of guy I am is I want to do everything I can to make sure that I'm in the best physical condition to play and mentally ready. So, it's also a blessing though, kind of look back and take a step back and relax, and you can work on things that you didn't really realize before while you were so consumed in the game. So it's been a blessing in disguise, I'd say. So we'll see how the second half goes.
And I've watched you out there. You sit up there in the stands, same side that I'm in, at least at the home games. You were there for just about every single one of them, and you weren't out there goofing off. You were actually watching the game, which is something that you don't see a lot of of an injured player. Sometimes they're off doing something else, but you were actually watching the team and watching what needs to get done. Is that going to help you as you move forward through the second half of the season?
Oh, yeah, and that's just me being a hockey guy, like I'm always interested in watching the game, and, like in my head, I'm always thinking of plays that, could be happening on the ice that I see that maybe the guys out there don't see. So, obviously, it helps me coming back. Like, I've been able to watch every team play that I'm going to be facing in the second half, and I know who their big guys are and, who I can take advantage of. So, it's obviously, like, good to watch. You get a lot of experience, but, I mean, there's nothing better than getting to play those guys, so that's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
Well, and the bright side for everybody out there is that your return to action is actually going to be on home ice against the University of Victoria, a team that's kind of been a thorn in the side of the Eagles here for the last couple of years. The first team, you guys have been the first team out of the playoffs. They've been the first team in. How important is it to go into this game against the University of Victoria, and one, for you as a player, get back out there and be able to find the back of the net for the first time this season and get back in that stride, and two, for the team to be able to go out there and get those first 2 points?
Yeah, it's definitely an anticipated game for me. It's been on my calendar ever since I knew when I was going to be able to come back. And Victoria, obviously, the team I got injured against in the first place, and like we all know that they're not the most stable team. They can bring it one night and maybe not bring it the next. So we're obviously going to try to take advantage of that and get our 2 points that first night. And for me personally, like putting the puck in the back of the net's obviously been something that I've done the last 2 years, but I'm going to bring whatever it takes to win. I'm not really concerned about my points at this point, but obviously they're going to come if I put my work in and if everybody else puts the work in too. So, I'm just excited to get on the ice as a team, and obviously we're going to have Brett Matthews back as well, too, and he'll bring another offensive threat. So I think we're sitting pretty coming into the next 11 games here in the second half.
And you were there, Beau. The last few games of the first half of the season, yes, the score was wide, but they weren't really blowouts. The team looked like they should have been in each and every one of those games. So being able to have you and Brett both back out there on the ice is definitely going to make an impact on the offensive side of the puck. But Beau, thanks for taking some time for us, and rest up as much as you can over these next couple weeks, and we'll see you at the URC on the 20th.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it. We'll definitely see you on the 20th.
Sounds good. And keep it right here on the Eagles Nest. More hockey coming up. We talked to Felix Allard of the ACHA team in moments. Welcome back to the Eagles Nest. Joining us now, number 14 for your ACHA Eagles, Felix Allard. And Felix, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing great, kicking back, getting ready to enjoy some hockey this weekend. You guys have 3 games in 3 days. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but I like to get everybody started by introducing the player and really letting you do it yourself. Kind of give us a recap of how you got here. Where did you play minor hockey at, and what made you decide to come to Eastern Washington, that sort of thing?
I started out, so I'm from Canada originally. I'm from Eastern Canada, from Montreal. That's where I started out all of my hockey. That's where I got my first skates and everything. Ended up moving to California when I was in elementary school. Been living in the same house since. I've been growing up there. I played minor hockey in the Bay Area in San Jose. I played with the Junior Sharks, and kind of play travel hockey over there. By the time I was 14, decided to pursue it. Went to prep school in Connecticut. Played New England prep there with a lot of kids. Played split season in AAA, and kind of like progressed a lot more there. And so I did 4 years there, and by the time I was 18, I was kind of playing. I was playing juniors a little bit, and I was just graduating from prep school, and I was kind of looking for school, and heard about Eastern, applied, got in, and there I am, sophomore year.
There you go, kind of all around North America, Eastern Canada, Western United States, Eastern United States. That's awesome. I know that everybody here at Eastern is glad to have you here. You've played for both programs at Eastern, both the ACHA team and the BCIHL team, over the last couple of seasons, and really there's been a coaching change on each team over the last 2 years, which means that you've had to learn different systems. Is that something that helps you more as a player, getting more different coaching philosophies, or does that make it a little harder?
No, not really that much harder. I mean, yeah, there's a bit of some adapting to it. I mean, last year starting out in the BC team, we had Kellogg for the first half, and his whole head around things was pretty solid, and I was just starting to learn it, and then the whole coaching staff changed, and I had to learn a new system, and I mean, being able to play hockey for so long, you get to learn it like a lot quicker as you get older and as you mature, and so yeah, it's not a bad thing really that different coaching changes. I like learning new things a lot, and it was kind of a good thing to learn new things, because then you get to understand things like better and faster, and it was pretty good.
Well, and that's definitely got to help. And with all of that experience, yes, you're only a sophomore, but this year's team on the ACHA side, you guys are very young, had quite a few new guys coming in this year. Do those younger guys look to you to set kind of an example, knowing, how long you've played hockey and the fact that you've been with Eastern for a while?
Yeah, absolutely. So they see me, and there's a couple of other kids that came down from the BC team this year from last year, and I mean, they see us as leaders, and they see like a lot of the older guys on the ACHA team as leaders, and it's a young team, and but they're pretty talented. So I like it a lot in the sense that you have older guys that are leading and that are like showing the way for the younger kids, and it's kind of balancing out, and we're starting to get it. We're starting to like understand it now, and it's a lot better than it was like in the beginning of the year.
Well, and you guys started off the year a little bit rough. It took a little bit to get that first win, but since you got that win, you guys have been rolling right along, and especially heading into the second half of the season now, you start right into conference play, 2 games against the University of Idaho this weekend, and then a tough game against Montana State. I mean, it's a pretty big weekend. How important is it for you guys to come out strong and get a couple of W's this weekend?
It's very important, start of the second half of the season. You always want to start off strong, and you want to like set the tone for the rest of the year. And so it's really important to show like, hey, let's get 2 or 3 wins here, and really show like what we're capable of.
Well, and then coming up in February, you guys are actually hosting the conference tournament, February 18th and 19th out at the URC. Coming into this season, it wasn't 100% certain that that's something you guys were going to do. Is that something the team takes pride in this year, being able to say that they're hosting the inaugural tournament? I mean, you guys hoisted the inaugural banner earlier this year.
Yeah, so it's a huge thing. So I mean, I wasn't on the ACHA team last year, but it's a big thing for the team. It's a big thing for the entire program to host that tournament and maybe come out with another banner. But it's a big thing for the program. It's a big thing for the team. You have the home ice advantage too. So I mean, there's a lot of perks to it that come along with it.
Definitely. Okay, so we're going to start wrapping this up. I've got one more question for you, a little game that we like to play. It's called 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Basically, I want to know 2 of your strengths and then one thing that you need to work on. I'm not going to call it a weakness, just one thing that in your game you might need to work on a little bit.
Okay, so 2 steps forward. One of my attributes, since I'm 6'3", I'm 210 pounds. I'm a big, solid, strong power forward player. I have a lot of strength, like really good puck control and everything. So my size is definitely an advantage to me. And another advantage I'm guessing is kind of like my vision on the ice because of like how I like to buy ice and everything. I like to envision myself like Joe Thornton in a way where he buys ice, like makes time and makes plays. So his vision is unbelievable, and I kind of like try and mirror myself to that in a sense. And one thing that I think I'll need to work on a little bit more, especially I just turned 20, so like my hockey career is not over, but one thing that I'll definitely be working on more is my quickness, like my speed. I'm a big guy, which means I'm like kind of clumsy on the ice a little bit sometimes. I have long legs, so I have a lot of weight underneath me, and so if I build up that strength in my legs and in that area, then my quickness will definitely get better, and I'm sure along with that, like my speed and my center of gravity and everything will just be much better, and that's one thing that I definitely think I should work on a lot more.
You answered those questions like a champ. Sometimes people stumble over those. And Joe Thornton, not a bad player to model your career over. But Felix, thanks for chatting with me. We'll see you out on the ice this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Yeah, thanks, Felix. And there you have it, number 14 for the ACHA Eagles, Felix Allard. He'll take the ice with the rest of his team this weekend at the URC. Game times are 7 o'clock Friday night, 5 p.m. on Saturday, and an afternoon matinee game on Sunday against Montana State. That's going to do it for this episode of the Eagles Nest. We'll see you right here next time.